This is bad. Don't do this kind of thing before your workouts. Hey guys, Coach Nick here. Today I'm going to be talking about 3 of the worst mistakes you may be making when lifting weights. I've made countless mistakes while training myself, including the 3 that I'm going to be talking about with you. So don't be discouraged if you do one or more of these things, because if you're making mistakes, you're learning, and if you're learning, you're getting better. So the first mistake that I see extremely often is not drinking enough water. In fact, a study from the water company Evian shows that 78% of people don't consume enough water. Now let me tell you, from personal experience, the side effects of dehydration are not fun. Obviously, there's the typical symptoms that people talk about like dizziness or headaches, but when it comes to lifting specifically, you can feel very fatigued and your muscles may even be weaker because your muscles need water in order to function properly. This means less gains because of something that's completely avoidable. I was guilty of doing this almost my entire life, but I have learned how important water is, and I have started to drink water constantly throughout the day, and so should you. I'm talking about when you wake up, before your workout, during your workout, after your workout, basically all the time. You can take a water bottle with you wherever you go, and that way you can just take sips of it whenever you need. This way, your body has enough water to do everything it needs to during the day, and when you go to work out, your muscles have that water readily available to use. I'm telling you, when I started to drink more water, I began to be able to lift more weights for more reps and not feel quite as tired when I finished my workout. Not to mention the cardio benefits. For those of you who do some sort of cardio or sport, hydration is even more important. Yeah, lifting weights is harder to do when you don't have enough water, but have you tried running while dehydrated? It's miserable. So I highly recommend getting plenty of water before you do anything cardio related that day. Before you say, I can't drink a lot of water before I run because it causes cramps, or I can't drink a lot of water before I lift because it makes me feel sick, I get it. The point is not to drink a lot of water at one time. Is to drink a little bit of water consistently over a whole day. That way, you can get the hydration your body needs without overwhelming your stomach and causing nausea or cramps. Trust me, your performance in the gym will definitely go up if you are fully hydrated every time. The second mistake people do while lifting is warming up incorrectly. A lot of people don't warm up at all, or they do warm-ups that actually hinder their ability to lift heavier weights. If you don't warm up at all and you haven't gotten hurt yet, good for you. You're lucky. When I was first starting to lift weights, I didn't warm up at all either. I just got to the gym, sat on a machine, and pumped out my sets. I didn't get any injuries from that for a long time, but I was also in high school and my body was a lot more elastic and able to handle that kind of dumbness. It wasn't until college that I noticed I had shoulder pain while bench pressing, and I started to realize maybe I should be a little bit smarter about things. So I started to warm up before lifting, and I noticed that I could actually lift more weight now than I could without warming up. I thought that was crazy. I was convinced that warming up actually made you weaker during your actual lifts and that it was only for old people. Boy, was I wrong. Since then, I've done some research, and it turns out that lifting not only reduces your risk of injury, but it also allows you to lift more weight. Weird, right? Then I dove a little deeper, and it turns out that the way you warm up actually can make or break your workout as well. There are 2 different types of stretching, static and dynamic. Most people, whether they're aware of it or not, use static stretching as their way of warming up. This is the kind of stretching where you're pulling on yourself or you're bending over to touch your toes. Basically anything where your muscles are being stretched to their limits. This is bad. Don't do this kind of thing before your workouts. You will increase your risk of injury, and some studies even show that doing static stretches before your workout may even prevent you from lifting heavier weights. Think of it like a rubber band. If you have a cold rubber band and you pull on it, what's going to happen? It's going to break. Same thing goes for your muscles. If you have cold muscles, you don't want to pull on them or you're going to risk tearing them. But also like a rubber band, if your muscles are warm, then pulling on them can increase the elasticity and mobility of them. So if you can't do static stretching before a workout, what can you do before a workout? Dynamic stretching. This is the kind of stretching that doesn't really feel like stretching, but you're still warming up your muscles without pulling on them. Things like arm circles, high knees, or butt kicks. Even walking on the treadmill for like 5 minutes is better than static stretching. By doing dynamic stretching, you're effectively warming up your muscles without the risk of tearing them. So, dynamic before and static after. Got it? Okay. The third mistake I see is so common, and it's unfortunate because I used to do this too, and I thought I was doing something good. And that's changing exercises or workout programs too often. When you're first starting out lifting, you don't really know what you're doing, so you just experiment with different exercises and programs. I get that. It's a really insecure feeling when you don't know if you're doing exercises correctly or if the exercises are even helping. But one piece of advice that has helped me was to pick a few different exercises and dedicate 2 months to getting better at those specific exercises. Don't worry if it's not the most optimal exercises or the perfect workout program. Just focus on gradually increasing the amount of weight or the number of reps you can do with those specific exercises. This will benefit you so much more than just randomly picking exercises each workout or switching your exercise program every few weeks. By doing this, you can progressively overload your muscles because you can keep track of how much weight and how many reps you're doing for each exercise, and you can push yourself each time you go to the gym. People have this idea that you need to confuse your muscles in order to see any kind of progress, but that's just incorrect. There really is no such thing as confusing your muscles, and by switching up your exercises so often, you're not giving your body enough time to grow. Your body adapts to the environment it's in, but you need to give it time in order to adapt to the exercises you're doing. And I'm not saying that you should never switch up your workouts. I think that it is important to switch things up every once in a while to break the monotony and to stop plateaus from happening. But the problem is, people switch things up way too often. It should be a switch every few months at minimum, and you shouldn't be switching your entire program, just maybe a few exercises. Doing this will keep your workouts consistent while making things interesting. If you thought these tips were helpful, go ahead and give the video a like, and I'll see you in the next one.